While Indians were being told to save fuel, India's most frequent flyer was busy collecting diplomatic air miles. In just 5 countries, 5 days, dozens of meetings, and enough handshakes to dislocate a shoulder, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched yet another mega diplomatic world tour. But here's the real question. Was this a geopolitical masterstroke or just a very expensive LinkedIn networking event funded by taxpayers? To understand this tour, we first need to understand the world right now. Oil prices are unstable. Europe is trying to reduce dependence on China. Artificial intelligence is becoming the new arms race. Supply chains are shifting, and every major country is hunting for reliable partners. India sees this chaos as an opportunity. The message from New Delhi is simple. India doesn't just want to participate in the global economy anymore. It wants to shape it. The first major stop? The United Arab Emirates. At this point, Modi visits the UAE so often that Dubai immigration officers probably recognize him faster than some Indian ministers. But jokes aside, this relationship is one of India's biggest diplomatic success stories. Before 2014, India-UAE ties were mostly about oil and Indian workers in the Gulf. Today, it's much bigger. The two countries now cooperate on trade, logistics, defense, fintech, food security, and even local currency trade. This visit focused heavily on the India-Middle East-Europe corridor, also known as IMEC. The idea is ambitious. Connect India to Europe through the Middle East using ports, railways, and shipping routes. In simple words, India wants a trade shortcut that bypasses China. The government calls it a game changer. Critics call it PowerPoint diplomacy. Next stop, the Netherlands. Now, you might ask, why is India suddenly so interested in a country famous for bicycles and tulips? Because the Netherlands is secretly one of Europe's economic superpowers. Europe's largest port, major semiconductor influence, agricultural technology, water management expertise. And India wants all of it. During this visit, multiple agreements were signed on green hydrogen, logistics, migration, innovation, and defense cooperation. India signs MOUs the same way people buy New Year gym memberships. Very enthusiastic on day one, and then everyone quietly disappears. That's actually the biggest criticism of many diplomatic visits. Announcements are immediate, implementation takes years. Then came Sweden. This was less about politics and more about technology. India is currently obsessed with 3 things: AI, semiconductors, and telecom independence. And Sweden happens to be very good at all 3. Companies like Ericsson, Volvo, and Saab already have strong ties with India. This visit focused heavily on 6G technology, clean energy, industrial partnerships, and advanced manufacturing. Translation: India wants to stop being just a giant consumer market and become a serious technology producer. The challenge, however, is massive, because signing technology agreements is easy. Building world-class innovation ecosystems, that takes decades. Also, every Indian delegation visiting Scandinavia eventually discovers 2 painful truths. 1, their public transport works, and 2, their politicians actually ride bicycles. Then came Norway. This visit focused on Arctic cooperation, green shipping, climate technology, and maritime strategy. Sounds boring? Actually, it's extremely important. Because as Arctic ice melts, new global shipping routes are opening, and India wants access before China dominates them. But the most viral moment of the visit wasn't about shipping. It was about democracy. Norwegian journalists questioned India on press freedom and democratic concerns, which immediately created tension during the press interaction, and suddenly the conversation shifted from trade to politics. Nothing scares governments more than Scandinavian journalists asking unscripted questions. And finally, Italy. At this point, the India-Italy relationship has developed its own cinematic universe. Thanks to viral internet moments between Modi and Giorgia Meloni, diplomacy accidentally became meme content. But strategically, Italy matters. Italy gives India access to European manufacturing, Mediterranean trade routes, and influence within the European Union. This meeting again pushed discussions around IMAC. The bigger goal is clear: create an India-Europe economic corridor strong enough to compete with China's Belt and Road Initiative. The ambition is huge, but there's one small issue. Most of these mega corridors take years to become reality. Now comes the real debate. Supporters say this is exactly what a rising global power should do: build alliances, attract investment, expand influence, secure trade routes. Critics say these tours are too focused on optics, too many announcements, too much branding, too little accountability. And honestly, both sides have a point. Because modern geopolitics today is part diplomacy, part economics, and part global influencer culture. In the 21st century, world leaders don't just run countries anymore. They run personal brands. Whether you support Modi or oppose him, one thing is impossible to ignore. India today is thinking much bigger than before. Artificial intelligence, semiconductor supply chains, global shipping routes, green energy, defense partnerships. India wants a seat at every major table, and these foreign visits reflect that ambition. But ultimately, the success of diplomacy is not measured by red carpets. It's measured by results: jobs, manufacturing, investments, infrastructure, technology transfer. Because in geopolitics, photo opportunities are temporary. Economic outcomes are permanent. So, what do you think? Was this a diplomatic masterstroke or a taxpayer-funded world tour? Comment below and subscribe to Terra Tidings for more geopolitical deep dives.